Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning. Okay. Is there a reason, Maddie, that the jail screen is so tiny as opposed to being in the center? Because I can't see people. That's a little bit better. All right. Can you hear me at the jail?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor, we can hear you.
Good morning. Who do we have from the public defender's office this morning?
Sarah Takessian and Jacob Marsh.
All right, ma'am. Can you tell me your full name?
Laura Ann Markley.
Ma'am, you are here today on a warrant out of Pima County Justice Court. It is a criminal trespass charge. There is a bond amount on the warrant for $2,499. You do have the right to remain silent on this charge. Anything you say can and will be used against you. We're here to set your conditions of release on this warrant. It is from 2022. I am going to impose a bond today based on the warrant of $2,000, cash or secured. If you do post that bond, or if you stay in custody, the jail will make sure you appear for your hearing. That's going to be tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm also going to appoint an attorney for you. His name is Doug Taylor, and he will be representing you in this matter going forward. Do you understand, ma'am?
I don't know.
Yeah. How are you feeling today?
I don't know.
Can you tell me what your address is? Laura, can you tell me what your address is?
1-6.
Can you hear me, Laura?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell me where you're living right now?
4-1.
Is it on West Far Street?
Yeah.
Is that the name of the street?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you living there with anyone or are you by yourself?
Good.
You do have a husband. Is he living there with you?
Yes. And my son.
And your dog?
Son.
Your son. Sorry, I did not hear that. Okay. How old is your son?
It's my stepson. He's
He an adult?
Oh, it's my grandson.
Okay, all right,
My grandson.
okay. So you're here at warrant out of justice court. And so with the amount on the justice court warrant, you're going to be held and I'm going to have an attorney talk with you. And you're going to be seen tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon so you can get this taken care of.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll just be in jail tonight, and then tomorrow you're going to be seen at 1 o'clock, kind of like what you're doing right now on video, so that you can get this matter taken care of, okay?
Hey.
All right, the judge will see you tomorrow on video. That's all for today. Mr. Taylor will be your attorney. He'll be in touch with you.
So here's all that information. Yeah, very good.
Okay. Thank you. Hey, sir, tell me your name.
Peter Louis Barbero.
Mr. Barbero, you are here today to talk about your next review hearing date based on charges out of Cochise County. Do you still have matters here in Pima County that are holding you? Okay, so we're going to continue to set a review hearing. The bond on your Cochise County case is going to remain. Your next review hearing is January 6th at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, have you had one of these before?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so you're here, Mr. Barbero, because Cochise County does have a warrant for you for whatever happened there. So there is a bond in effect. It is a $2,500 cash or secure bond that has been in place for your case in Bisbee. It looks like it's for narcotic drug possession and drug paraphernalia. So once you get released on your Pima County case, whatever is going to happen with that one, whatever is going on here, you'll either need to post that $2,500 cash or secured bond, or Bisbee will be told that they need to come get you and take you to Cochise County if they want to pursue these charges. So that's kind of where we're at, but we don't want to lose track of this case or that particular bond. So if you're still in custody on January 6th, you're going to come back before the court again, just like you're doing today. So we can let you know that that bond is still in place and make sure that that doesn't fall through the cracks. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Now, I believe I have a hearing coming up on the 10th of this month,
Okay.
and I'm supposed to get a change of plea and then go out on probation to a drug rehab. Now, what's going to happen? Are they going to be able to release me to the rehab, or what happens then?
So if you still have this $2,500 cash or secured bond through Cochise County, they likely won't release you for that. So probably what will happen is you'll end up, they'll talk with Cochise County to see what they want to do, unless you can post the $2,500 cash or secured bond.
Okay.
All right. Are you going to be in front of Judge Hampson on the 10th? Is that who your
Yeah.
hearing's in front of? Okay. And have you talked with probation or your attorney about where you're supposed to go for residential treatment?
Yes, they are. We already got my screening, everything.
Okay. This is something that I can't control from this particular seat because it is another jurisdiction. So if you're not able to post that $2,500 cash or secured bond, they likely will hold you and not release you to ARC until Cochise County decides what they want to do. So if your attorney that you're working with on your Pima County case doesn't know about this, maybe mention it to them.
I did mention it to them. Is there any way we can get the date closer to the 10th so that if I'm getting released, that we could, tell Cochise County sooner?
So once you get released, so once the Pima County case is lifted, that's when the jail is going to contact Cochise County to let them know, we are done with you here. We're ready to release you. If they want you, they either have to come get you or figure out what they're going to do with the bond. That's what'll happen. This review hearing date, you don't have to stay in custody for that. This is just to make sure that if you're still sitting in the Pima County Jail by January 6th, Hopefully you won't be, but if you are, that we're not losing track of you or this other case and that you're not being held in there on this matter. That's what that hearing date's for. So you don't have to stay there until January 6th. This is just a check-in to see what's going on.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so make sure you talk with your attorney and then whatever happens on the 10th, hopefully they'll be able to get that worked out for you, all right?
So what do I tell my attorney? To contact Cochise County?
I mean, just let your attorney know that you have this other case and that this is pending and ask him what you asked me today. What's that going to do if you need to be released to the ARC? And they'll know, they'll be familiar with it. Who's your attorney?
And
Ben Green?
Green.
He's going to know. So just make sure you communicate with him or whoever at the legal defender's office. They'll be familiar with how to handle this for you. All right, Mr. Barbero?
you.
All right, have a good day.
Yeah.
Hi, sir. Tell me your name.
Jason Beal.
Mr. Beal, you are here for a review hearing on a case out of Pinal County. Do you still have matters pending here in Pima County?
No, ma'am, I just finished them on Monday.
You finished them on Monday? Okay.
That's it, no.
So when you say finished, what's happening with you? Are you supposed to go to DOC? Are you supposed to be on probation? What's going on?
I sent it to DOC.
Okay. So what should be happening is, looks like there is a $10,000 secured bond out of Pinal County. So that's what you're being held on right now. The jail should be notifying Pinal County that your time here in Pima is finished. And they either need to come get you so that they can transfer you to Pinal County to get these charges resolved, or you'll be sent off to DOC.
All right.
What I need to do though is schedule another review hearing for you here. I don't anticipate you'll still be here by January 6th at 9 a.m. when we're going to set the next review hearing, but we want to make sure we're keeping track of you for as long as you're in the Pima County Jail to make sure that Pinal County has either come to pick you up or that you've been taken to DOC since your charges here are resolved.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any questions about that, Mr. Beal? Right. So you're not going to be held here based on that January 6th hearing. If they get your Pinal County matter resolved or off to DOC, this hearing's not going to keep you here. It's just a placeholder in case for some reason you're still sitting here. Okay.
So you said I should go to Pinal County before DOC?
That's normally how it works, but I'm not going to. I can't tell you that with 100% certainty because they could take you to DOC and then Pinal County could do a writ to get you back there. So I do believe the jail should be letting them know that you're done here. And if Pinal County wants to pick you up on their warrant, that could be what happens next. But the folks at the jail will be able to tell you that as well, all right?
All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right, all done, Mr. Beal.
Thank you.
Morning, Judge. This is Joe here.
Hi.
I just wanted to let the court be advised that Mr. Cromwell is actually at downtown court at the Senate.
Okay, so we will roll him to tomorrow, maybe? Okay, so I'm being told, let's just give you the month date for Mr. Cromwell, which is going to be the same review hearing date, January 6th at 9. So let's reset his review hearing date for that date and time. And he's being held on a Maricopa County cash bond of $1,000. And that should be all we need to do for purposes of the record here today. Does that work for you, Jail?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. Hey, sir, tell me your full name.
Johnny Angel Esparza.
Mr. Esparza, you were here on a felony charge of aggravated assault. This is the time for your initial appearance where we're going to set conditions of release. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. I am going to appoint Trevor Hill to represent you. You do have counsel seated with you today. She's from the Public Defender's Office. She won't be your attorney, but she is representing you for purposes of this hearing. I've had the opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. Looks like you are in custody on other charges, and there is also a Department of Corrections hold based on your parole status. So regardless of what we do with this new charge here today, you're likely going to continue to be held. I have looked at the state's recommendation. They are requesting a no bond hold at this time, which means that they're going to be asking that you be held without bond pending a hearing. Mr. Poston, is that the state's intent?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Esparza, by statute, there's nothing we do today other than I hold you without bond until you have an opportunity to go see another judge at a hearing to determine whether or not that's going to stay in place. So that hearing is going to be December 9th at 2:30 in the afternoon. You will be transported to Pima County Superior Court and you will be before Judge Metzger. And there will be a hearing to determine whether or not you will continue to be held with no bond or if she's going to impose a bond on this case.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So that is all we need to do. Well, I should tell you, the hearing after your no bond hearing is going to be a preliminary hearing. That's going to be December 16th at 1:30. That date may or may not occur, but you will be responsible for showing up at all future dates. If you remain in custody, the jail will make sure that you get transported for any hearings that you need to attend. And I'm sure Mr. Hill will be out to talk with you before the no bond hearing. Do you understand all of that, Mr. Esparza?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Right, you're all done for today on this matter.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, Dale here again. Mr. Lopez is actually at downtown court at this time.
I'm sorry, who was that? Lopez?
Mr. Lopez Michael?
All right, so let's do his review hearing date, same thing, January 6th. If we can reset his, and his bond is a $5,000 cash or secure bond out of, it looks like Clifton and Morenci. Are you good with that, Jail? Hello?
He just stepped away, Judge. I think he'll be right back.
Okay. I just want to make sure you guys have that date.
Yes, Judge, we do. Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
And Your Honor, I'm sorry to interrupt. This is the Spanish court interpreter. Can we check with the jail if there's any Spanish speakers?
I didn't see any today. Jail, do we have any?
No, Judge, we do not.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
Thank you too, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Bye. Hi, sir. Tell me your full name.
Ruben Jose Miranda.
Mr. Miranda, you are here today on a charge of aggravated assault. It is a felony charge. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. I'm going to appoint Sarah Wright to represent you. You do have an attorney seated with you for purposes of this hearing today. We're going to talk about conditions of release. She's from the Public Defender's Office. She won't be your attorney, but she will be representing you for these proceedings today. I've had the opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. I've also had the opportunity to review the state's recommendation on this case. It does look like they are asking for a $5,000 bond. Mr. Poston?
And further, Your Honor.
And is it Miss? Tell me your last name again, Sarah?
Takessian, Your Honor.
Takessian. Okay, I will try to get that right.
No worries. Thank you.
Your position.
Due to the hold and the fact that he's already in custody, we would ask for a $500 bond just to ensure that he's still earning time on this matter.
I am going to impose a $5,000 cash or secured bond at this time. If you do post that bond and you get released on your other matter, sir, then you'd be released to pretrial services. You're going to be ordered to participate in any monitoring or treatment that they direct. No alcohol or drugs. You can't have any firearms or weapons, and don't have any contact with the victim in this case. Do you understand all of those conditions of release?
Yes, ma'am. I've already been sentenced on it. I was waiting to go to DOC on it.
Well, this one's gonna keep you here for a little while longer. So you're not going to DOC while this is going on. Okay, your next hearing in this case is going to be a preliminary hearing. That's going to be December 16th at 1:30. That hearing may or may not occur, but you'll be responsible for showing up at all future hearings. If your other case resulted in you going off to DOC, you'll still be in custody. Your attorney should be in touch with you, Ms. Wright, to let you know what's going on, and the jail will make sure that you appear probably much like you're doing here today via video for the next hearing in this case. All right? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, you're all done for today. Is that the one that we? Oh, here we go. All yours. What number was he? Did I give you the file already? Okay, perfect. Did I hand you file 7 by mistake? Oh, yeah. Hi, sir. Tell me your full name.
Carlos Ignacio Valente Gallardo.
All right, Mr. Valencia Gallardo. You are here on a Pinal County case. It looks like you also have charges here in Pima County, so you're here for a review hearing. What's going on with your Pima County case?
I'm here to March.
Okay. So it looks like your Pinal County case, you're being held on a $2,000 secured bond, and that bond is going to remain in effect. We're going to set a new review hearing date for January 6th at 9 o'clock in the morning. And you will appear again via video, much like you are today if you're still being held in the Pima County Jail. Are you serving a jail sentence? Is that why you're going to be here until March? Okay.
Yeah.
So what will happen is you'll continue to appear for review hearings on that Pinal County case. And then once you're done here in Pima County, the jail will notify Pinal County that you're basically done here if they want to come pick you up and take you there, or you can post that bond then. Do you
Concurrent together or something.
You can talk, who is your attorney from here?
Benjamin Grimm.
Ben Green. You can try to get a hold of either Mr. Green or someone at the legal defender's office to see if there's something that they can do. But for now with Pinal County, their warrant is in effect. So you can talk with him to see if there's a way for him to get a hold of them and see if there's something else that can be done. But for purposes of today's hearing, we just want to make sure that we're not losing track of this case or you remaining in the Pima County Jail longer than you need to. So we're going to continue to have review hearings for as long as you're here and as long as this case is still pending.
All right.
Okay. So your next hearing will be January 6th at 9 a.m. All right, that's all for today.
Hey, well, hurry up. Oh. Huh? No, no, you don't stop it.
Well, but it's got something to check for it.
Good morning. Tell me your full name.
William Daniel Sebas.
Mr. Aceves, you were here today on a charge of refusing to provide a truthful name when you were in custody with law enforcement. You do have the right to remain silent on that charge. Anything you say can and will be used against you. This is a misdemeanor charge. It looks like, sir, that you also have a hold from adult probation jail. Is that still the case?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Aceves, what that means is because you have a probation hold, regardless of what I do on this particular case, you're still going to be held because of your probation matter. Do you understand that? Okay. So on this case, I am actually going to just release you. So your next hearing on this case is going to be January 3rd of 2025. And that will be at 8:30 in the morning in front of Judge Roberts. If you are still in custody for whatever reason, then the jail will have you appear, much like you're doing today, via video. But if you get released, you need to appear on January 3rd, 2025 at 8:30 so that you can get this matter taken care of. If you fail to appear at that date and time, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand all of that?
Yes.
All right, that's all for today. You're all done.
Bye.
Hi, ma'am. Tell me your full name.
Jerusalem Black.
Ms. Black, you are here today on charges of domestic violence, disorderly conduct. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. These are misdemeanor charges. This is the time to talk about your conditions of release for these charges. I've had the opportunity to review a report prepared by pretrial services. If I release you today on this charge, will you promise to appear at a date that I give you in the future for justice court?
Yes, Your Honor.
The other thing is, it looks like the victims in this case are your father and your brother. At this time, you're not going to be allowed to have any contact with them when I release you. Will you abide by that condition of release as well?
I live with them, so what should I do?
You're going to have to find some other place to live in the meantime.
Yes.
Do you have a friend or another family member that you can stay with?
Yes, I have a house in Nogales.
Okay. So pretrial services was not able to reach either your father or your brother to ask them what they wanted about this particular case. So what that means for the court is, for now, we're not going to allow you to have contact with either of them. And that will stay in place until another judge changes that. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So with that, Ms. Black, I am going to release you today on your promise to appear. Your next court date is going to be January 3rd at 10:30 in the morning, and that is going to be at Pima County Justice Court. When you get released later today, you're going to get paperwork. It's called an appearance order with release conditions that's going to have that date and time, as well as the address for Justice Court for where you need to appear. As I've indicated, your conditions of release are not to have any contact with the victims, don't go to where they live or work, and don't commit any future acts of domestic violence. Do you have things at the home that you need to go pick up?
Yes, ma'am. I have my car and
Okay.
purse, wallet, cell phone there.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is check a box on your release condition order that allows you to return to the residence one time with law enforcement to pick up your belongings. So you can either go to a nearby police station and show this to them, or call 911 and let them know that you have a court order to go get your belongings. In a domestic violence matter, they're very familiar with that. And then they'll tell you where to meet them. Don't go to the house and sit at the house and wait for them. You're going to need to be sitting at a nearby convenience, someplace away from the house where you can let them know where you are so that they can meet you and you can go to the residence together. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. If you do fail to appear on that January 3rd date, they could issue for a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, yeah.
All right, you're all done for today, Miss Black.
Thank you.
Blake.
Hi, sir. Tell me your full name.
William Dale Blake, just second.
Mr. Blake, you were here on multiple matters today. We have 2 warrants out of Pima County Justice Court. And then we also have a city court warrant that we need to talk about. You do have the right to remain silent on all of these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. The warrant for Justice Court, the first one is for a DV assault. The amount on that warrant is $500. Looks like this was from 2021. And then there's also a new count, it looks like, of a DV disorderly conduct and fighting charge. So, Mr. Blake, the thing with these cases is they're not going to go away. You have to appear and you have to deal with them. If I release you on these cases and give you 1 court date at Justice Court and 1 court date at City Court, will you promise to go and get these matters taken care of?
Yes, Mayor. I promised you to take care of. Yes, thank you.
All right. As to the new domestic violence charge, pretrial services did prepare a report for the court on that case. It doesn't look like we were able to contact Miss Lopez. So what that means is at this time, you're not going to be allowed to have any contact with her. Do you have some place that you can live that is not with her?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So releasing you on both matters. The first one we're talking about is the new charge of the disorderly conduct, listing her as the victim. Don't commit any further acts of domestic violence. Don't go near her or anywhere that she is living or working. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And jail, do you have a felony case on him?
He has a child support warrant with a $200 bond on, Your Honor.
Okay. So that $200 bond on the child support warrant, sir, is going to continue to stay in effect. That has nothing to do with what I'm doing here today. So until you get that matter resolved, you're not going to be released. Do you understand that?
So I have to pay $200 bond, is what you're saying?
For the child support warrant, I don't know if that is a cash or secured bond. You'll have to work that out. I just want you to understand that that is something that is separate that has you in custody from the things that we're talking about here this morning. So even though I'm releasing you and giving you new court dates on these cases, it doesn't mean that you're going to get released because of that other matter.
Yes, sir.
All right. So on these cases, your next court date is going to be January 3rd, 2025 at 10:30. Again, no acts of domestic violence. No contact with Elizabeth Lopez at this time. Do not go anywhere near where she is living or working. We still need to talk about your city court case as well.
All right. Please try again.
So it looks like this was a warrant that was issued back on November 19th of 2024. Does appear to involve a DUI. I am going to release you on that as well. Give me just one moment, sir. Okay. So you're going to have to go to city court, sir, and make sure you get this taken care of, but I am going to release you. That date is going to be January 13th at 9 a.m. If in time, they're going to issue another warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you're all done for today, Mr. Blake.
Thank you.
Estrada, all the way up. Let's see.
Hi, tell me your full name.
Hi, my name is Ilse Estrada.
Estrada, you are here today on domestic violence charges involving assault and disorderly conduct. These are misdemeanors. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services on this matter. If I release you today on these charges, will you promise to appear at a court date that I give you in the future?
Yes, Your Honor, I do and will appear.
You also cannot have any contact with Mr. Pineda, the victim in this case, at all. Do you understand that?
Understood and
Do you have some other place that you can go?
yes,
Okay, so even though you were staying with him, you understand you're not going to be allowed to go back there.
correct.
Do you have any belongings at his residence that you need to go collect?
Yes,
All right. So
many.
here's what I'm going to do.
Basically, okay, sorry.
You don't need to give me any details today, okay? We're here to talk about your conditions of release. Based on what you've told me, I am going to release you on your promise to appear. Pretrial services was able to talk to Mr. Pineda and he does not want to have contact with you, and the court is not going to allow contact based on the circumstances. So while I'm releasing you, you're not to commit any acts of domestic violence or have any contact with him. You're not allowed to go where he's living and working. The exception is I'm going to check a box on your conditions of release that allows you to return to his house one time with law enforcement to get your belongings. You must go with police. Don't show up at his house and wait for them. Either go to a nearby police station with the appearance order that you're going to get when you get released from jail today and show them the order that says you can return one time, or call 911 and let them know that you need to go get your belongings under a court order for a domestic violence case. They'll be familiar with how to do that. You just need to make sure you meet them somewhere other than right at the residence. Do you understand all of that?
Understood, yes.
Your next hearing is going to be January 3rd, 2025 at 10:30 in the morning at Pima County Justice Court. You do need to appear at that date and time. If you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand all of that, Ms. Estrada?
Yes, understood.
You're all done for today. All right, make sure you get your paperwork when you get released today.
Sir,
Okay. Let's see where you went. Morris.
Hi, sir. Tell me your full name.
Alan Christopher Morris.
Mr. Morris, you were here on some misdemeanor charges involving criminal damage and disorderly conduct. These are domestic violence offenses. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I've had the opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services today. It looks like one of your sons is the victim in this particular case. If I release you today, will you promise to appear at a future court date that I give you?
Yes, ma'am.
And the other thing is, you're not going to be able to have contact with that son. Do you have the ability to reside somewhere else?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Well, we're on separate properties,
Okay. As long as you don't have contact with him.
but it's okay for me to return to my home, correct?
Yes. So that's what I'm going to allow. And it looks like based on pretrial services, they were able to contact your son, Zach.
Uh-huh.
And he's indicated that you can stay with him. Is that on the same property?
It's the same area, but not the same property. There's two properties.
So,
We're neighbors.
okay, but you can avoid your son Dernan. Is
Correct.
that his name? Okay. All right, so sir, I am going to release you then today on your promise to appear at a future court date. You're not to commit any further acts of domestic violence, don't have any contact with your son, Dernan, or go where he is living or working. So you can go to your property. I'm not going to restrict that, but you do need to avoid him. That's going to be part of the court order. Do you understand all of those conditions of release?
Absolutely.
Your next hearing date is going to be January 3rd at 10:30 in the morning. That hearing will occur in Pima County Justice Court. You do need to appear or a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Completely.
All right. And then when you get released today, the jail will give you a copy of your paperwork, and that's going to have the date and time that I just gave you, along with the location of Justice Court where you need to appear.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're all done.
Thank you.
Peterson.
Hi, sir. Tell me your full name.
Nicholas Bonner Peterson.
Mr. Peterson, you're being seen today on a charge of drug paraphernalia out of Pima County Justice Court. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. It looks like the information that I have, Mr. Peterson, says that you may have something else going on. Do you have another felony case or something else pending right now other than this charge?
Yes.
Okay. So the only thing you're being seen on today is this drug paraphernalia charge. I'm going to release you on this charge and give you a court date in the future. I don't know what else is going on. We don't need to talk about that today, but whatever other conditions of release are in play on that other case has nothing to do with what we're doing today. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm releasing you on this drug paraphernalia charge. Your next court date is January 3rd, 2025 at 8:30 in the morning at Justice Court. You will be expected to appear at that date and time, or a warrant could issue for your arrest. If for some reason you're still in custody at the Pima County Jail, they will have you appear via video for that hearing. But if you get released, it's your responsibility to appear. Do you understand that, Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
All right, you're all done for today.
Judge, just so the court is advised, Mr. Peterson also does have a superior court.
Okay. Thank you.
Tapia.
Hi, tell me your full name.
Yvonne Tapia.
Ms. Tapia, you were here on 3 different matters today. You have a warrant out of Marana for a shoplifting charge and then a failure to appear. There's a $350 cash bond on that. Looks like you're also pending a drug paraphernalia warrant out of Oro Valley, and there is a nearly $2,500 bond that's being requested on that case. You also have matters pending in Tucson City Court, warrants for your arrest out of that jurisdiction. Looks like those are for criminal trespass and shoplifting. You do have the right to remain silent on all of these cases. Anything you say can be used against you. Ms. Tappy, I'm showing an address on Poquita Vista here in Tucson. Is that a good address for you?
Yeah.
So these warrants are old. They're from 2021 and 2022. Did you know you had these warrants out there?
Yeah, I knew I had one.
Okay, so here's my dilemma, Ms. Tapia. There's 3 different jurisdictions that you have warrants in. All of them have bond amounts on them. I can release you today, but these warrants are not going to go away. They're going to continue to pop up. And if you don't go to court, then I'm going to have to hold you on these warrants, and then you can get them resolved. So if I keep you in jail on the warrants, you can either post the bond or sit there in jail until all 3 of these matters get resolved. Or I can release you and you can promise to show up at a court date that I give you. Are you working right now?
No.
All right. Do you want to stay in jail and get these resolved? Or if I give you court dates, are you going to show up?
I'm going to show up to the court date.
It's going to be 3 different court dates in 3 different locations.
Okay.
You promise you're going to go?
Yes, I promise.
All right, these aren't going to go away. I am going to release you on your Marana case for that shoplifting count. You do have to appear in Marana on January 29th at 10 o'clock in the morning. If you do not appear at that date and time, they're going to issue another warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that, Ms. Tapia?
Yeah.
Do not go to where that shoplifting occurred. That's where the victim is. Your Oro Valley case is a drug paraphernalia charge. I'm going to release you on that one as well. You're going to have to appear at Oro Valley City Court on January 8th at 10:30. If you fail to appear at that date and time, they could issue a warrant for your arrest again. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And then on your city court cases, I am going to release you on that criminal trespass and shoplifting charge. Do not return to that incident location. That's where the victims are. Don't go back there. Your next hearing date is going to be January 13th at 9 o'clock in the morning at Tucson City Court in front of Judge Maldonado. If you fail to appear, they're going to issue a warrant for you. Do you understand all of that as well?
Yes.
When you get released today, Ms. Tapia, they're going to give you 3 different pieces of paper. Each is going to have your release conditions. Each is going to have the court dates that I gave you and the locations of the court. Hold on to those. There's no reason that you shouldn't be at all of your court dates in January so you can get these resolved. Got it?
Got it.
All right. You're all
Yes.
done, Ms. Tapia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wildman,
Hi, tell me your full name.
Jovan Sebastian Wildman.
All right, Mr. Wildman, you are here today on disorderly conduct charge. It is a domestic violence offense. We do have family members in the courtroom today, so I will hear from them in a minute. You do have a right to remain silent on these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. And Jill, I do note that he is on parole, but it doesn't look like there are any holds. Is that still the case?
correct, Judge.
Okay, all right. And ma'am, tell me your name. Okay, and what is it that you would like the court to know?
I would like to put him to mentors services and also rehabilitation.
Okay. So the issue that I have today, and I do see that you are the victim of the disorderly conduct charge today. What I have to decide today is whether or not he gets released from the Pima County Jail or if he gets held on these charges. Is he staying with you right now?
Yes, I take care of him and I give him his medications and I provide everything that he needs.
Okay. And so if I release him today, I can't, there's nothing the court can do today about connecting him with services or resources. That's not going to happen until he gets to a future court date. If I hold him in custody today on these charges, he'll get an attorney and he'll be seen tomorrow at 1 o'clock by Judge Cornejo. And then they may be able to get services. But today, the only decision that I have is whether or not he can be released. Does he have somewhere to go that is not with you if I release him? Okay, all right. Sir, I know you're raising your hand. I don't want to hear anything about the offenses. The only thing, I can't. The only thing I need to know, sir, has to relate to Mr. Wildman's conditions of release today.
CRC.
Okay.
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
you were supposed to have. That's what Tucson was supposed last night. You were supposed to have this information that you
or CRC, there was this issue that because his medications aren't right, he needs to get his medications adjusted. That's what's going on. His medications are not proper.
Okay, so, and again, and I can sense the frustration and see it with both of you, and for that, I am truly sorry. The only thing that I can do today is deal with conditions of release. I cannot order him to go to the CRC. I cannot order anything other than what we're going to do with his release conditions today. So based on the information that you have provided, I am inclined to just hold him in the Pima County Jail until he can be seen tomorrow. He'll be given an attorney to represent him, and that attorney is someone that he can communicate with. You guys are also free to contact that attorney as well and see what it is that they may be able to set up through justice court. The other alternative is, have you guys been involved in Title 36? Is he under Title 36 at this time? Do you know what that is?
Yes, yes.
Your Honor, the jail is indicating that he is under Title 36.
Okay. So what I'm going to do today, again, is order that he be held because he'll be seen tomorrow on this charge in justice court in front of that judge. And at that time, when he has an attorney, then that would be a time when they can review the conditions of release that we set today. So they may be in a position of releasing him tomorrow. And then that gives everyone a chance for you all to figure out what you want to do in terms of location. All right. Is there anything else you want the court to know about that today?
That's what the county sheriff department told us. CRC today because the community services had already written the petition and it was accepted petition. So I don't understand why we have two different courts now for this issue.
Because this is not the issue that we're here to talk about today. We're not here to talk about the Title 36 or the mental health stuff. This is about the arrest that they made related to the domestic violence disorderly conduct charge. That's the only authority that this court has today. We don't have the authority over that. You don't have the option of dismissing the charges. That's something that's done through the state. Right. So Hank, I'm sorry you feel that way, sir. There's nothing I can do to change that today. Jail, do you have any information on Mr. Wildman going to the CRC?
There's been a petition for him to be sent to the CRC.
And who did the petition? Can you tell?
Judge, it looks like law enforcement did the petition.
Okay, so law enforcement did the petition. So if I do order him released now, is he going to be taken to the CRC on that petition?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So there you go. So he won't be held tomorrow. We'll be releasing him today. So Mr. Wildman, I need to address you for a minute now. You're here on the charge of disorderly conduct involving your grandmother. She's here. It also sounds like there has been a petition filed to have you go to the CRC for an evaluation. Do you understand all of that?
Yes.
All right. So I will release you on this charge today, but what that means based on that petition is that you won't be released. You'll be taken to the CRC, and whatever happens with that evaluation will be where the court goes. It doesn't mean this case goes away. This case is going to stay in effect, and your next court date for this case is going to be January 3rd at 10:30 in the morning here at Justice Court. So when you leave the jail, they should also have a copy of the paperwork to go with you. you do need to appear on January 3rd at 10:30 for this matter. And if you don't, they can issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions about anything we just did, Mr. Wildman?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm not going to order no contact with the two of you unless you tell me that's something that you want. Okay. So you're still going to be allowed to have contact with your grandparents. It's just getting you to the CRC to get that evaluation done.
Okay.
Okay. All right. You're all done, Mr. Wildman. So tomorrow, I don't know what they're going to do when he gets to the CRC, because again, that's not anything that's within my control. But that January 3rd hearing will be something that'll be the very next time this case gets addressed. Okay? The jail has, yes, and that's what I checked, is they do have the petition. It's called a petition for civil commitment, and it's basically an evaluation that will be done at the CRC. But it's going to be up to them. They could release him later today. I don't know. I won't have any control over that. Again, and unfortunately, that's all stuff you'll have to deal with at that other location. Because again, the only thing I have the ability to do here is address just this case. So I didn't hold him. I did release him. He'll get transported to the CRC, and then you'll need to work with them as far as what's going to happen next once he gets the evaluation. Okay? Thank you for being here today. I'm sorry for all the frustration. Have a good day. Okay. All right. Thank you. Hi, sir. Tell me your full name. All right. Mr. Hall, you are here today on new charges involving DV assault and DV disorderly conduct. We do have a victim on the line we're going to hear from in just a minute. You also have warrants for failure to appear for drug paraphernalia, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, giving someone under 21 alcohol, and more disorderly conduct charges. You do have the right to remain silent on all of these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services on your case today. We're going to talk about your conditions of release. Ms. Kincaid, are you on the line?
Correct, I am.
Great. And what is it that you would like to tell me about the conditions of release? I do see that you did indicate that you do not mind having further contact with him and that he is welcome to return home if I release him. Is that your position?
Correct. I would love for him to be released, and this is all just it's all just some more, not misunderstanding, but everyone just very, very tired, and the holidays coming up, and I'm just here for support because he is a great man and he is my fiance, and I know that we can work it out further.
Okay. Thank you for that, Ms. Kincaid. So, Mr. Hall, if I release you today, you have to promise to go to a court date that I give you in the future. The difficulty that I have with that is that you have some failures to appear because you're not going to court and getting those resolved. So if you don't promise to show up at the date that I give you and you don't show up, they're going to continue to issue warrants. I can keep you in jail and then they can get resolved. So are you going to go to court if I give you a future date?
Yes, ma'am. I am going to go to those warrants that you're talking about. I have no cognizance of them.
All right. Well, you do now. So I am going to release you on your promise to appear for all of these cases. This is also the time for the arraignment on the two new charges for assault and disorderly conduct. You are presumed innocent. I am going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf for those charges. Your next court date in city court is going to be January 7th at 3:00 in the afternoon. That's going to be in front of Judge Million. That will be for your new charges and also all of your warrants. If If you don't appear at that date and time, they could issue another warrant for your arrest. They also could go forward in your absence. And if the hearing and any subsequently set hearings go forward in your absence and you're convicted at a trial at city court, if you can't be sentenced within 90 days, then you're also going to lose your right to appeal any conviction that may exist in that court. Do you understand all of that? All right. So you do need to appear at that date and time. You can commit no further acts of domestic violence. So don't get into it with Ms. Kincaid. I'm not going to enter any further orders given her comments here today. So the two of you can continue to have contact with each other. Just no more domestic violence. Got it, Mr. Hall?
Okay.
All right, you're all done.
Ms. Jackson?
Hi, tell me your full name.
Michael Jackson.
You are here today on a charge of domestic violence, threatening and harassing, failing to comply with court orders, assault, and disorderly conduct. You do have the right to remain silent on all of these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services on this case. If I release you today, will you promise to appear at a future court date that I give you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Here's the other issue that I have. There is an order of protection that is still in place for Mr. LZ. And it does look like pretrial services had a chance to talk to him. And he doesn't object to your release, but says he wants further contact. I can't have you have contact with him because there is an active order of protection. So if I release you today, your condition of release is that you not have any contact with him. So you can't do that. Do you have a place that you can live that is not with him?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I am going to release you today on your promise to appear. Do not commit any further acts of domestic violence, and you are not allowed to have contact with Krishan LZ. Do not go to where he's living or where he's working. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, I understand.
All right, your next court date is going to be January 7th at 3:00 in the afternoon. That's going to be in front of Judge Millian at Tucson City Court. If you fail to appear at that date and time, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand.
This is also the time for your arraignment on these city court charges. You are presumed innocent. I am entering not guilty pleas on your behalf. I also need to tell you that in addition to a warrant being issued for your arrest at that next hearing, if you fail to appear, they could set subsequent hearings, including a trial. And if you get convicted at trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could also lose your right to appeal any conviction that may occur in city court. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Jackson, you're all done for today.
Okay. No, go ahead. No, Marty. Thank you.
Peru?
Hi, tell me your full name.
Omar H. Peru Orozco.
Mr. Peru Orozco, you are here today on a charge of disorderly conduct, fighting. It is a domestic violence case, and also failing to comply with a court order in a domestic violence case.
I plead not guilty to both, but I believe you only have authority over the disorderly conduct, right?
No, I actually have control over both of them right now. What we're here to do is talk about your conditions of release and what's going to happen today. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. We're also going to do your arraignment on the new case, which is the disorderly conduct. That is the one where I can tell you that you are presumed innocent, and I will enter a not guilty plea on your behalf for that particular case. If I release you today on these charges, you have to go to a court date that I give you in the future. Will you promise to do that if I release you today?
Yes, Your Honor, for the domestic violence, right?
Yes.
How soon can this court date be?
It's not going to be until January.
Well, Christmas is coming and I'm definitely not a violent person.
So the other issue that I have right now is based on information provided by pretrial services. They were not able to contact your wife, Miss Peru, who is the victim in this case. And so for that reason, right now, contact order with her, which means you're going to have to stay somewhere that is not with her, and you can't have contact with her until your next court date or until a judge changes that in the future. So do you have somewhere else that you can go or stay? That's not going to do me any good right now, sir. You have to establish an alternative address and go somewhere else other than with her until a court changes that in the future. If you don't do that, I can't release you. You cannot have any contact with her. So no, that's not going to be a possibility.
Even if
You
I'm the only one working, I'm not alive, and she doesn't work.
So you're not going to be allowed to go where she is living or where she is working.
So,
Yes.
so
Sir, Mr. Perdue Orozco, I'm not going to argue with you about this today. It's a choice that I'm giving you, which I don't really have to give you. So these are going to be the court's orders for today. And the order is either you remain in custody or I'll give you a bond that you can post, or I can release you today, but you have to find some other place to reside until a judge in the future changes the order. We haven't been able to get a hold of your wife. So
can that be a
those are your options. So are you gonna find a place to stay that is not with Miss Peru?
I can leave in the car.
I will release you on your promise to appear and your agreement that you won't have any contact with her and you'll establish an alternative residence until the court changes that in the future. Your next court date is going to be January 7th at 3:00 in the afternoon. That's going to be in front of Judge Million at Tucson City Court. When you get released today, you'll get a copy of the order. I can check a box that allows you to go back to your home so you can collect any belongings with law enforcement present with you if you need to get some things and work out some living arrangements. Would you like me to check that box on the form for you?
All of the houses mine, I have many things. Is there a way that she will not sell anything before the court date?
I don't have any control over her. The only thing I can do is enter court orders pertaining to you based on these charges. So I did check the
Would that
box.
be considered robbing me if she sells like musical instruments, my laboratory instruments?
Sir, you're gonna have to, you can retain an attorney, you can talk with them, you can figure that out. But today I am gonna check the box that allows you to return one time with law enforcement.
You said everything in the this is I have to pay your CD and need to help in this case.
So right now, this isn't a case where you're automatically being appointed an attorney. If you go to that court date, Judge Million may look at it differently and she can appoint an attorney if she sees fit. But this isn't the kind of case where you automatically are entitled to an attorney. It's a misdemeanor offense. So I'm not appointing you an attorney today. January 7th, you can't have any contact with your wife until January 7th. Well, until a court changes that. Your court date is January 7th at 3. I'm not entering any orders as to your kid. So you can have contact with your kid. Okay? If you failed to appear for that January 7th hearing, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Also on those new charges, if you don't go to court, that particular hearing and any subsequently set hearings can go forward in your absence. And essentially by you not appearing, you're waiving your appearance. And when you do that, if it gets set for trial and you get convicted and can't be sentenced within 90 days, they could also, or you would lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand all of that as well?
My wife agrees. Is there a possibility that I get to more than one contact in order to retrieve things from there? As my car is a very small car, it's just a Honda Fit.
So You can't have any contact with her. If she wants to contact Tucson City Prosecutor's Office and talk with them about the case, she can do that. But the next hearing date I'm giving you is January 7th. So if she wants to contact the city prosecutor's office to see if something else can be arranged. So I'm not allowing you to return back to her residence, her workplace, or have contact with her. I did check the box that allows you to return with law enforcement to get your belongings. So those are the court's orders, sir. I don't know if the court will provide one or not. You need to see Judge Million. That's not me. That's a completely different courthouse and a completely different judge from where I'm from. You're all done for today. They can, but that's why I didn't check the box. I didn't check the box, so I'm assuming they wouldn't, but thank you for that. Hi, sir. Tell me your full name. Victim, right?
Marty Albertez.
You are here today on city court charges involving threats and intimidation and also criminal trespass. You do have the right to remain silent on these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. These are domestic violence related charges. It does look like your brother is the victim in this case. We do have someone on the line. Mr. Tejas, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Hi. So we're here to talk about conditions of release for Mr. Tejas today on this matter. Did you have input for the court that you would like me to know about? So the only thing that I can do is set a bond on this matter and appoint him an attorney. If he posts the bond, that's going to be up to him in terms of release. If I do release him today, there are no contact orders that he'll have to abide by. That includes not having any contact with you, returning to the incident location, or anywhere that you're living or working. So those would be the court's options for today.
Tuesday, has not been served yet. I would need to make sure he is well aware that there's an order of protection against him at that property on 25th Street.
Well, I think you had just said, Mr. Tejas, so that needs to be served. And I don't have any record of it being served, so that's not something that I can include today. I can certainly include the fact that you have, I will note that that is a concern that you do have. And again, whether he's released today or I impose a bond that he's held on, that is going to be a condition of his release, is that he not go anywhere near you, anywhere where you're working, or anywhere near where you're living. I don't know what the property is on 25th Street. Is that where the incident happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Then yes, he's not going to be allowed to return to the incident location either.
Okay.
Is there so Mr. Tejas, with the no contact order, do you still object to release, or would you prefer a bond? And again, recognize that I want your input, but it's ultimately up to me to decide what to do.
I prefer that you impose on your owner. It's just the best way to go.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Tejas. Is there anything else you want the court to know on conditions of release? Yeah, that's all I can deal with today. All right. Mr. Tejas, Martin Tejas. I do have to decide what to do as to your conditions of release today. I do have concerns, given what your brother said about releasing you on your promise to appear at a future court date.
I also reside at that residence. He does not.
Well, you're not going to be allowed to return back there, so that really doesn't matter. So if you don't have another place that you can go, but the court's order today If you get released, whether I impose a bond or release you on your own recognizance, the conditions of your release, the court orders you are going to be under today until some other judge changes that or until your court date, which would be January 13th, you are not allowed to have any contact with your brother. You cannot go to where he's living or working, and you cannot return to the incident location. So do you have another place that you can reside that is not any of those places?
Not this time. I can find out today. That's the place, that's where I've been living for 60 years.
All right. So I am going to impose a bond today. If you're able to post that bond, then you'll be released. I am going to appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. The bond is going to be a $1,000 cash or secured bond. If you're able to post that bond, then you can be released. The conditions of release that I just gave you are in place. So whether you post the bond and get released, you still have to abide by those conditions. It looks like there is a hearing date scheduled on December 23rd at 10 a.m. in another matter. I am going to vacate that hearing today, and your next hearing is actually going to be December 10th at 1:45. And that's going to be a review hearing in front of Judge Hale if you remain in custody. If you post your bond and you get released, then your hearing date is going to be January 13th at 10 o'clock in the morning, also in front of Judge Hale. Whenever you get released, whether it's today, if you post the bond, you will get a copy of the paperwork that's going to have your court dates and also the location for Tucson City Court. You do have to appear. If you fail to appear at your court dates, a warrant could issue for your arrest. If you are still in custody for that video review hearing date on December 10th, the jail will make sure that you appear much like you're doing today for that hearing. Any questions about your conditions of release?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not working at this time. I don't have any money to post a bond.
So I'm going to check the box that if you do get released, you can return to wherever the property is that you were living, only with law enforcement to collect anything that belongs to you. But the court's order today is that you do have that bond that will be reviewed at your hearing on December 10th at 1:45. So if you aren't able to post the bond today, it is cash or secured. So you don't have to post the full 1,000, but you would have to post 10% plus collateral for that $1,000 bond. But again, if you can't, you'll be seen December 10th at 1:45 via video with Judge Hale, and she can review those conditions with you at that time. All right. But if you do post bond, then your next hearing is that January 13th date. I also need to tell you on the new charges that you are presumed innocent. I am entering not guilty pleas on your behalf today. If you fail to appear at the court dates, they could issue a warrant for your arrest, and they can also go forward in your absence. You're essentially waiving your appearance if you don't show up. And if they set subsequent court dates, including a trial, and you're convicted at that trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you also will lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand all of that as well?
I do, yeah.
All right. We're all done with this matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your patience.
Me too.
Hi, sir. Tell me your full name.
Carlos Javier Zuniga.
Mr. Zuniga, you are here today on charges of aggravated DUI and child abuse. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. I am going to appoint the public defender's office, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of this hearing. I have had the opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services on this matter. I've also had a chance to review the state's recommendation. They are asking for a $10,000 bond, and it looks like release to pretrial if you're able to post that bond. That is the court's inclination. Does the state want to be heard further?
Given the court staff.
Defense?
Your Honor, due to the fact that Mr. Zuniga has no prior felonies and the fact that the DUI charge will likely be dismissed waiting on blood work, we would ask for release. If the court is inclined to impose a bond, we would ask for a nominal bond exceeding no more than $1,000.
Yeah, because
I am,
I have a job that I have to start.
I am going to impose a bond on this case in the amount of $10,000. That's cash or secured. So if you post that bond, then you'll be released to pretrial services. If you get released to pretrial services, you have to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. They very likely will ask you to or require you to participate in alcohol monitoring if you get released. You are not allowed to have any alcohol or illegal drugs. You cannot drive without a valid license. You can't have any firearms or weapons. You can't have any contact with the victim at this time, which is going to be the child that was in the vehicle with you. Those are the court's orders as to your conditions of release. Do you understand all of those, Mr. Zuniga? Your next hearing date is going to be a preliminary hearing on December 16th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That hearing may or may not occur, but you will be responsible for showing up at all future court dates. If you post bond and get released, it's important to stay in touch with your attorney in case that date changes so that you have any new dates. If you fail to appear, they will issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're all done.
What do I gotta do now? So then I'll be stuck here for the whole day. What size?
Yeah.
There,
Hi, sir. Tell me your full name.
Leonardo Joseph Barrett.
Mr. Barrett, you are here on a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court for a narcotic drug possession, dangerous drug possession, and drug paraphernalia charges. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in these matters. I'm going to appoint the legal defender's office to represent you. You have counsel seated with you for purposes of this hearing today. She's not going to be your attorney, but she'll be representing you as we discuss your conditions of release on this case. I've had an opportunity to review information that pretrial services prepared on this matter. I also have had a chance to review the state's recommendation. I am inclined to release you to pretrial services. That is what the state also recommended. Does either counsel wish to be heard further?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Barrett, what that means is you're going to be released today, but you're going to be released to the custody of pretrial services. I don't know what happened with the warrant that was issued because you failed to appear for your arraignment, but I'm going to give you a new court date today, December 11th at 1:30. You must go to that arraignment. It'll be Pima County Superior Court on the 8th floor. If you don't show up, they're going to issue another warrant for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. When you get released to pretrial services, that means you're going to be required to check in with them, participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to have any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms while this case is going on. Do you understand all of that, Mr. Barrett?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
And do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear for that arraignment on December 11th at 1:30?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you're all done today.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, tell me your full name.
Dalton Wade Campbell.
Mr. Campbell, you are here today on domestic violence charges. It does involve a felony offense, also involving strangulation. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had the opportunity to review information provided to me by pretrial services. I will note that there is not a Form 4C or a risk assessment on this case. However, I do have the victim present on the phone who does want to be heard. So I'm going to hear from her first. Miss Orr?
Hi, Your Honor.
Hi. So what we're here to talk about today is not what happened, but just conditions of release and what you would like to see the court do.
Yes, ma'am. This is his first offense. He's not really done anything this bad before, and I don't want to press charges, and I don't think he's going to reoffend or do anything like that, so I just hope that you can release him on his own recognizance.
All right, so Ms. Orr, the issue about charges, that while you have input as a victim, it's not going to be your choice about whether or not to proceed with these charges. That's going to be up to the state of Arizona and the prosecutor's office as to what they do with these charges going forward. Again, your input is something that will matter and you have a constitutional right to share with them. But as far as indicating that you don't want to go forward, I just want you to understand that that's not something the court is going to consider. I will consider your other comments here today and take those into consideration. Is there anything else you want the court to know?
Just that it's okay if he goes back to his house and he goes back to work. I don't have any issue with that.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Orr.
But that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So I have considered Ms. Orr's comments. She is the victim in this case. She is also Mr. Campbell's spouse, it does appear. I will note that when she spoke with pretrial services, she didn't indicate that she sustained a cut to her ear, bruising to her neck as a result of the incident that occurred at a mall here in town. She is not going to be remaining at the shared residence. At the time, she wasn't sure whether she wanted additional contact with him, but did not really object to his release. I will tell all the parties right now that my inclination is to impose a $25,000 cash or secured bond based on the circumstances of this offense. And there also will be no contact with the victim in this case. Whether she wants it or not, the court's order today is that there not be any contact between them. State need to be heard further?
No, your state would not object to any of the foregoing.
Defense?
Your Honor, given Mr. Campbell's lack of felony history and that the victim is not objecting to release or living at his home, we would ask for a bond no more than $5,000.
I am going to impose a bond in this case of $25,000 cash or secured. If you are able to post that bond, sir, then you'll be released to pretrial services. If you're released to pretrial services, you will participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You can't have any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms or weapons. Commit no further acts of domestic violence. And in this case, you are not to have any contact with Ms. Orr. Again, that's the court's order with you. You are not to go to where she is living or working. It sounds like you have separate residences. So if you do post bond and get released, you do not need to be having contact with her. This order does apply to you even when you're in custody. So if you remain in the Pima County Jail, you'll be given access to visits, phone contact, and tablets. And the order involving no contact with her is going to apply to you while you're in custody as well. Do you understand all of those conditions of release, Mr. Campbell?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Orr, are you still on the line?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I very much appreciate your comments here today. Thank you for taking the time to let me know your position. I know it's a little bit different than what you wanted, but I do appreciate you being here today. And you understand the no contact order that's in place, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your next hearing date, Mr. Campbell, is going to be December 16th at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you will be responsible for showing up at all future court dates. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue for your arrest. If you do get released, stay in contact with your attorney. That will be the person that will know if any court dates change. If you remain in custody, the jail will make sure to transport you to any future dates. You're all done for today, Mr. Campbell. Thank you, Ms. Orr.
Right.
You can hang up now. Hi, sir. Tell me your full name.
This is Ángel Contreras.
Mr. Contreras, you are here today on a charge of aggravated domestic violence, impeding an airway. It's essentially a strangulation charge. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. I am going to appoint Sarah Wright to represent you. You do have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. She's seated next to you. She's not your attorney, but she'll be representing you as we talk about your conditions of release here today. I have had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services on this case. Actually, I don't, yes, I do. Yeah. And we also have the victim who is on the phone. So I've looked at the pretrial services information, and there is 2 charges, the aggravated domestic violence and the assault impeding breathing charge. Is it Miss Castile? Are you on the line? Miss Castile, can you hear me? If you hit *6 on your phone, ma'am.
Hello?
Hi, Miss Castile.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay. So, Miss Castile, what I want to do first, it looks like you did have the opportunity to talk with pretrial services. They did report the injuries that you had as a result of this incident. You also indicated that it looks like it says that you will be remaining at the residence, that he is welcome to return home, and that you want further contact. Is that what is that your position here today on conditions of release?
You can return back to the home. I don't want contact, but for his kids, yes. Just because the circumstances of he's very abusive and mental and other substance abuse help. And he's refused time and time again to get that. And I've asked him to get evaluated to see if he has autism. And it's like a trigger mechanism switch for him. And I really need him to see his actions and behavior and be held responsible instead of blaming everybody for how he acts and telling me I play the victim. And I just really want him to get help, really help, and actually stick to it instead of feuding with Lydia or these other people and then telling me I'm crazy and mentally abusing me and physically, and trying to get him to like calm down and realize like there's so much more to life than continuing to keep doing this, and work past your issues and you'll grow.
All right, Miss Castile, thank you. Is there anything else that you want the court to know?
No, I just want him to do good for his kids, because he has a little girl that needs her dad, and he has 3 little boys, and he has to set that good example for them and not repeat history what he was taught.
Okay.
And he's very well loved, and he needs to get that through. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Castile, for that. So again, reviewing information provided by pretrial services, I did note in the state's recommendation, Mr. Poston, it does look like you had the Form 4C, the risk assessment for domestic violence. The court doesn't have that. Do you have anything? It looks like you're asking for a $75,000 bond.
Yes, Your Honor, this person This person has 2 prior DV convictions, same person. This person's escalating. This is a 3rd time. If there's a 4th time, there's likely to be a fatality here. The state has no confidence that this person will not continue to be a risk, both specifically to the victim and to the community in general. He's demonstrated, and the court should be just reviewing it right now.
All right, and it does, as I've indicated, you asked for a $75,000 bond. Defense?
Your Honor, we would ask for a $25,000 bond in this matter. We think that amount is enough to address any concerns about safety to the community and to make sure that Mr. Contreras appears in court.
I am going to impose a bond today of $40,000. That's going to be cash or secured. If you do post that bond, Mr. Contreras, then you'll be released to pretrial services. You're going to be ordered to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You cannot commit any further acts of domestic violence. You are not allowed to possess any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms or weapons. At this time, I am going to impose a no contact order with the victim in this case. Don't go to where she is living or where she is working or have any contact with her. If you stay in custody, that part of the court's order is in effect. So you will be given access to phones, tablets, visits. You are not to have any contact with her. Do you understand those conditions of release, Mr. Contreras?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Your next court date is going to be December 16th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you will be responsible for showing up at all future court dates. If you stay in custody, the jail will transport you for future dates. If you post bond and you get released, stay in contact with your attorney. That will be the way you know if any court dates change in the future. If you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You're all done, Mr. Contreras. Thank you, Ms. Castile. You're all done for today.
Sir?
Hi, tell me your full name.
David Hobbs?
Mr. Hobbs, you were here today on a charge of aggravated assault, serious physical injury, and aggravated robbery. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. I am going to appoint the legal defender's office to represent you. You have counsel seated with you this morning. She's not your attorney, but she's going to be representing you as we talk about conditions of release, which is what we're here to do today. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services on this matter. I've also had a chance to review the state's recommendation. They're asking for a $25,000 bond. Mr. Poston, did you want to be heard further?
Your Honor, this is an absolutely brutal assault. It would seem to have been unprecipitated. The victim was beaten about the head and face, fell to the ground. The defendant and his cohorts, accomplices, continued to strike him. Somebody actually shot at him, and then he was struck again. He fell again. The defendant is observed on video kicking the victim, who was already down. Then the defendant stole the shoes and stole the victim's shoes, stole the victim's cell phone, keys, $4,000 in cash, and then departed. This is a brutal, brutal attack, and this person has easily demonstrated he is at risk to the community and the victim. $25,000.
Defense?
Your Honor, we would ask for $10,000 in this matter. We understand the severity of these allegations, but we think that $10,000 would be enough sufficient to address any concerns in the community and to ensure that Mr. Hobbs appears in court.
Thank you. Jail, I do note that he is on felony probation, but we do not have a hold at this time. Is that right?
Correct.
All right. I am going to impose a bond of $25,000 in this case. That's going to be a cash or secured bond. If you post that bond, Mr. Hobbs, then you'd be released to pretrial services. You have to stay in contact with that agency, participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to have any alcohol or drugs. You can't have any firearms or weapons. You also are to have no contact with the victim in this case and do not go to the incident location. If you do get released on this matter, you do need to contact your probation officer on the first working day of your release. Do you understand all those conditions?
Yes.
Your next hearing date is going to be a preliminary hearing on December 16th at 1:30. That hearing may or may not occur, but you're going to be responsible for showing up at all future court dates in this case. And if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand that as well, Mr. Hobbs?
Yes.
All right, you're all done. Hi, ma'am. Tell me your full name.
Raven Vanessa Kavanaugh.
Ms. Kavanaugh, you were here today on charges out of Kansas. There were a couple of warrants out for your arrest. One of them had to do with an aggravated battery intentional harm charge. Looks like the other one was a felony possession of methamphetamine. There are bond amounts for those warrants. The one for the aggravated battery is a $12,000 cash or surety bond. The other is a request for $5,000 on the possession of meth case, also cash or surety. That is why you're here today. You do have the right to remain silent on these warrants. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I've had the opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services on this case. I've also had a chance to review the state's recommendation. It does look like they're not actually indicating anything other than what's on the warrant. Mr. Poston?
Your Honor, warrants, if there's an amount, I would ask the court to go ahead and adopt that.
So I know that two matters are combined, so that would be a total of a $17,000 cash or secured bond, since they're both accruing on one matter in this case.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Defense?
Your Honor, we'll defer to the court on this matter. We want to note that there's no underlying offense here in Pima County, and we're not sure if Kansas will come pick her up, so we'll defer to the court on this matter.
So at this time, Ms. Kavanaugh, I am going to impose a $17,000 cash or secured bond. That's the total of the two bonds that Kansas is requesting at this time. What that means is that you're going to have a hearing here in Arizona on December 9th at 2:30. The legal defender's office is appointed to represent you, so they will contact you before that hearing and let you know what to expect. That's basically the time for Kansas to decide, or if you want to waive extradition and go back to Kansas. So talk with your attorney about that hearing, but the bond total for now is the $17,000 cash or secured. If you are able to post that bond, you need to make sure you show up at Pima County Superior Court on the 8th floor on December 9th at 2:30 for that hearing. If you remain in custody, the jail will make sure to transport you for that.
Okay.
All right. If you fail to appear, Ms. Kavanaugh, they'll issue more warrants for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're all done for today.
Thank you.
Hi, tell me your full name.
Brett Leverance.
Mr. Leverance, you were here on charges of organized retail theft, aggravated shoplifting, and burglary tools. These are felony charges. Looks like we also have some city court matters that we need to talk about as well. As to the felony charges, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in those matters. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. I've also had an opportunity to review the state's recommendation as to your conditions of release. They're asking for a $10,000 bond. State?
State submits on the written record, Your Honor.
Defense?
Your Honor, we would ask for a bond not exceeding $2,500 in this matter.
I am going to oppose a bond in the amount of $2,500. That will be cash or secured. If you're able to post that bond, Mr. Leverance, then you'd be released to pretrial services. If you're released to pretrial on this case, you have to participate in any monitoring or treatment that they direct. You can't have any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms or weapons. Do not return to the incident location where these shopliftings and organized retail thefts occurred. Those are the victims that are at that location, and you can't have any contact with them. Your next hearing is December 16th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not appear, or may or may not occur, but you are responsible for appearing at all future court dates. If you post your bond and get released, you need to make sure that you appear and stay in contact with your attorney so that you know when any court dates change. If you stay in custody, the jail will make sure to transport you. Do you understand all of your conditions of release on the felony matter?
Yes,
And do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
yes.
We need to talk about your city court matters. It does look like you have multiple matters, at least 8 or 9, it looks like, on the number of files. Those are for thefts, criminal damage, criminal trespassing, 2 charges, theft or shoplifting, also drug paraphernalia, all warrants. I am going to impose a bond on that case of $1,000 cash or secured on all your city court matters. I am going to appoint Janet Altschuler to represent you on this case. Your next hearing is going to be December 10th at 1:45 on all of these matters. That will be before Judge Maldonado. If you remain in custody, then that is going to be done via video. If you do post your bond and you get released, then you need to go to city court on January 6th at 9 a.m. If you do get released, you're going to get a copy of your conditions of release, and it's going to have all of the information on it as to your dates and times for your court appearances. Do you understand what I've explained to you on the city court matters, Mr. Leverins?
Yes,
And if you fail to appear, a warrant could be issued for your arrest. Do you understand that as well?
yes.
All right, you're all done.
What's up?
Hi, ma'am. Tell me your full name.
Alexis Love.
Ms. Love, you were here today on charges related to possession of a narcotic drug, possession of drug paraphernalia, and shoplifting. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney on this matter. I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of this hearing. We're here to talk about your conditions of release today. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services that tells me a little bit about you and the offenses here. It does look like, Ms. Love, that you may be eligible to participate in a substance abuse treatment court program. It's a program that involves you agreeing to participate in substance abuse treatment. And if you successfully complete all the terms of the program and you actually qualify, then the state won't go forward with these charges that you're here on today. Is that something that you're interested in doing?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So your next hearing for the substance abuse treatment court is going to be December 9th at 9 a.m. That's next week. It's going to be in front of Judge Hampson in Pima County Superior Court on the 3rd floor. I am inclined to release Ms. Love to pretrial services today. Does anyone want to be heard further? State defense?
No, Your Honor, we would also ask her to do this pre-trial.
Okay. So Ms. Love, as to these charges, I am going to release you to pretrial services. You're going to need to stay in contact with that agency. You're not to have any alcohol or illegal drugs. You can't have any firearms or weapons. There's a misdemeanor shoplifting case on this that's associated with this case. So do not go back to the incident location where the shoplifting occurred. That's where the victims are. Are we willing to waive time for the preliminary hearing on this case to see if she's eligible for steps? Defense?
Yes, Your Honor, we're willing to wait time.
So Ms. Love, a couple things. Normally the state would have a certain time limit in which they had to indict you on these charges. Because you're eligible for the substance abuse treatment court, what I just asked your attorneys was to give the state a little bit more time. It works to your benefit if you're eligible for the program to have that preliminary hearing date kicked out. They're used to dealing with these kinds of cases, so they've told me that that's okay with them. which means that we'll do a preliminary hearing for you on January 21st at 1:30 in the afternoon. So that gives the state 45 days. If you agree to participate in the substance abuse treatment court and you qualify, then you'll sign a contract and then you'll start participating and get connected to services. And that'll kind of put a pause on things. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Thank you.
So before you go, it looks like there's a general delivery address for you. Are those your circumstances right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you're going to get released today. A couple of options for you. Contact pretrial services when you get released. That's who you're going to be staying in touch with if you qualify for this program. They may be able to assist you with services sooner. Also, probably the better option for you is there is something called the Transition Center. It's a trailer that's right outside on the jail property. If you go to the Transition Center as soon as you get released today, they will be able to connect you with services, and that may include housing. Also some substance abuse treatment and services that they can connect you with. I would really encourage you to go. This is a good opportunity to participate in this STEPS program, but you're going to have to show up at that hearing on December 9th if you want to be eligible. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, you're all done for today, Miss Love.
Mr. Martinez?
Hi, sir. Tell me your full name.
Gabriel Martinez Pico.
Mr. Martinez Pico, you were here today on a sale of narcotic drug charge. This is a class 2 felony. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services on this case. I've also had a chance to review the state's recommendation. They are asking for a $10,000 cash or secured bond on this case. That is my inclination. Does the state want to be heard further? Mr. Poston, did you want to be heard further?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is comfortable with the court entering those orders as this person was caught with selling over 80 grams of cocaine on the U of A campus. This person is a community danger.
Defense.
Your Honor, we would ask for a bond not exceeding $1,000 on this matter. He doesn't have any previous felonies or FTAs. We have no reason to believe he wouldn't come to court. He has no history. And for that reason, we would ask for a bond not exceeding $1,000.
I am going to impose a bond on this case of $10,000. That's going to be a cash or secured bond. If you do post that bond, Mr. Martinez Pico, then you'd be released to pretrial services. If you get released to pretrial, you're ordered to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to have any alcohol or drugs. You can't have any firearms or weapons. Are you a student at the U of A right now?
No, ma'am.
You are not to go near the U of A campus.
Sounds good.
If you post your release, that's going to be an additional condition of release that you have to abide by. Your next hearing in this case is going to be December 16th at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you're going to be responsible for showing up at all future court dates. If you post your bond and you get released, stay in contact with your attorney. That's the way you'll know if any court dates change. If you stay in custody, then the jail will make sure you get to your next hearing. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Correct.
And do you understand all of the conditions of release I've imposed today?
Correct.
All right, you're all done.
So this is there.
Mr. McKenna?
Hi, sir. Tell me your full name.
Dusty Lee McCannon.
Mr. McCannon, you're here today on a charge of aggravated DUI and misconduct involving weapons. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. We're going to talk about your conditions of release. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services on this matter. I've also had a chance to review the state's recommendation. It looks like they're recommending a $25,000 bond. State?
Your Honor, this person was stopped and in the parking lot of a daycare, seen falling down, stumbling drunk, when he was driving to pick up the child of apparently his partner. Looks like the PBT was north of 0.2. It's not his first DUI, and there was an unsecured firearm on the floor of the car that he was going to be using to pick up this child from daycare. This person poses an incredible risk. This could have been a terrible accident involving a daycare age child. This person is a risk not only to the individual, but to the community. 25,000.
Defense?
Your Honor, we recognize the severity of these allegations. We would ask for a bond not exceeding $5,000 in this matter. We think that will secure Mr. McCannon's appearance at court and is sufficient to justify any concerns about community safety.
It does look like there is a warrant out of Gilbert for a DUI. It looks like it was a 2016 offense and the warrant issued in May of 2022. I am going to impose a bond in this matter of $10,000. That's going to be cash or secured. Mr. McCannon, if you post that bond, then you're going to be released to the custody of pretrial services. That means staying in touch with that agency, participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're very likely going to have to participate in alcohol monitoring. You are not allowed to have any alcohol or illegal drugs. Do not drive without a valid license. You can't have any firearms or weapons. Do you understand all of those conditions of release?
Yes.
Your next hearing date is a preliminary hearing on December 16th at 1:30. That hearing may or may not occur, but you're going to be responsible for showing up at all future hearings. If you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. If you post your bond and get released, it's important that you stay in contact with your attorney so that you're aware of any date changes. If you remain in custody, the jail will make sure to transport you to your next hearing. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear, Mr. McCannon?
Yes, I do.
Right, you're all done.
Thank you.
Mr. Romero.
Hi, sir. Tell me your full name.
Victor Israel Romero Jr.
You are here today on a charge of prohibited possessor. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney on this matter. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services on this case. I've also had a chance to review the state's recommendation. They're asking for a $10,000 bond. State?
Your Honor, this person is a prohibited possessor from juvenile charges and fairly violent juvenile charges. 2023, we have minor with a firearm as well as unlawful discharge of a firearm. And then on 2023, ag assault of a peace officer. He's a prohibited possessor, but still saw fit to be on YouTube holding a rifle that he was not allowed to possess. This person is clearly not getting the message that he is not to own or possess any firearms. He is a distinct risk to the community.
Defense.
Your Honor, we would ask for release to pretrial services in this matter. He has no priors and adult priors for misdemeanor or felonies. We know that we're not here to address the juvenile cases. We're here for the current matter. He has no failure to appear, and he's quite young, so we would ask for release to pretrial services.
I will note the juvenile history includes probation violations on these matters on 2 separate cases. So I do have some concerns about him following conditions. I am going to impose a bond of $10,000 cash or secured at this time based on all the information the court has. Mr. Romero, if you do post that bond, then you'll be released to pretrial services. If you get released to pretrial, you have to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You also can't have any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you are not allowed to have any firearms or weapons. Do you understand all those conditions of release?
Yes.
Your next hearing is a preliminary hearing on December 16th at 1:30. That hearing may or may not occur, but you are responsible for showing up at all future hearings. And if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. If you do post bond and get released, you need to stay in contact with your attorney so you know when the future court dates are. If you stay in custody, the jail will transport you. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes.
All right, you're all done, Mr. Romero. Hi, sir. Tell me your full name.
Hi, this is Chris Teddy Tom Cheston.
Mr. Tom Cheston, you are here today on a charge of aiming a laser at an occupied aircraft. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing today. I have had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. It does look like you're on probation and parole. Jail, you're not showing any holds at this time?
He does have a hold for the Department of Corrections, Your Honor.
All right. So what that means, Mr. Tom Cheston, is regardless of what we do here today, DOC has placed a hold on you. So you're going to be held until that matter can be resolved. I have had a chance to review the recommendation by the state as well. They're asking for a $1,000 bond. I am inclined, obviously, to hold Mr. Tom Cheston on a bond on this case in light of the DOC hold. Does the state want to be heard further?
Your Honor, the fact is, because pretrial hadn't updated their website in time for publishing recommendations, I was unaware of the DOC hold. However, given the defendant's criminal record, ag assault drugs, weapons, drugs, history of failure to appear, the state would modify its request to $7,500. And the state would also state for the record that having ridden in the survey aircraft with PCSO, it is absolutely blinding to be up there. And a pilot who can't see is an absolute risk of a mishap of the most severe variety. That is why this sort of thing is prohibited by law, and it is an incredibly dangerous act, not to be underestimated.
Defense?
Your Honor, we recognize the dangerousness of the alleged conduct. We would understand that he has a DOC hold. We would ask for a bond not exceeding $500 to ensure that he's earning time credit for this and recognizing that he has a current hold, so he's going to be held in custody regardless.
I am going to impose a $2,500 cash or secured bond at this time. If you post that bond, Mr. Tom Cheston, then you'll be released to pretrial services. And again, that's on this matter only. You're still going to have that DOC hold. If you do get released to pretrial, you have to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You can't have any alcohol or illegal drugs. You can't have any firearms or weapons. If you get released, it's important that you contact not only your parole officer, but also your probation officer within a day of your release. Do you understand all those conditions release?
Yes, ma'am.
Your next hearing is December 16th at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you'll be responsible for appearing at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If you remain in custody, the jail will make sure to transport you to future hearings. But if you get released, you need to stay in contact with your attorney. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Well done today. All right, everyone. Thank you.